How's it going, guys? Anfield here. Welcome back to a new video. Today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit more interesting. It's actually a video that was suggested on stream by Sidious. He wanted to know, if I could do a garage video where I go over all my tanks, and he wants to know, what tanks that I might recommend to get, what tanks I like, what tanks I dislike, and that sort of thing. And I've never really done anything like that with my garage before. Maybe you've seen what tanks I have, by just watching me drag the carousel on stream, but I've never really talked about the tanks that I have and things like that and showed them off. So yeah, we're going to do that. I can talk about tanks for a long time though, so this is going to be a lot of rambling probably. So, if you're into that sort of story time thing, maybe you've got a little bit of time to kill. This is probably the video for you. So yeah, sit back and let's get started. We'll probably get through part of the lines because there's no way I'm doing all these tanks in one single video. It's gonna be a long video if I did that. So we'll probably have to split this up. So we'll probably do maybe the Americans and the Germans first and then move on from there. So over here on the far left we have the M46, which is a tank that I really do enjoy. And I actually do think the tank looks quite nice aesthetically, so that helps. It always helps when you have a tank that you think looks pretty cool. And the M46 looks baller, so yeah, I really do like the tank. It's a tank that I've owned for quite a while, but I didn't own the tank pre tier 10. So when it was still tier 9, when it was tier 9 and top tier, I did not own the tank, which is a shame because it was really good back then too. Now it's since received buffs, and I've had the tank way before those buffs, but the buffs did really improve the tank quite a lot. And then of course it became the padding tank as the mediums in terms of the T54, the M46, and the E50. Everyone looking to pad their W8 and look really cool. The M46 was one of those, but I've just generally enjoyed playing the tank. So yeah, I really do like it, and I definitely would recommend this tank though if you're looking for a tier 9. In fact, it's kind of a testament to the tank really that I still own it, because mostly when I get to tier 10 I just sell the tier 9s or whatever came before. I don't really keep them, so the fact that I do own the tank is quite a testament to it. So then we have the M48, and unfortunately for me again, I didn't have this tank when it was first released. I ground it much later, so I didn't get the Mega M48 that we had when it was first released at tier 10. So that's kind of a shame in many ways, but I did get the tank later, and I do really still enjoy the tank after the nerfs even. The gun handling is really, really good, which, to be honest with you, any tank that has super gun handling in my book is really nice. I don't like RNG affecting my shots, so if a tank has got a reliable gun, I really like that. And the M48 certainly does have that. Now, it is a bit of a tall, clumsy tank in some ways, and it does have a lack of armor, which can be quite frustrating, although it does sometimes work. It does seems to be quite random, but it is a pretty good tank, and I definitely would still recommend getting the tank if you're looking for it. So next we have the T110E5. I suppose I should have done the M60 next, but we'll do the E5. The E5 is an interesting history for me. It was obviously first swapped from the T30 to the E5 when the T30 used to be the heavy tank. If you had the tank at the time, you got a free tier 9 tank destroyer as well as the T110E5. Unfortunately for me, I didn't quite get there, and once we get to the Soviets, I'll explain why. But it was a really good tank at the time, and I 3-marked my E5 before the buffs, so I really did enjoy it actually before the buffs as well. I thought it was quite a solid tank. Now, some of you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't actually have the tank, but this was the Clan War tank, and I remember, and maybe my memory is wrong, but I think it actually had better DPM than we know today. I think it was almost like a second faster when it was first introduced, but I could be wrong. But I think it was more like FE215B DPM, but I may be wrong. Either way, I didn't have it back then, but I did have it a little bit after that, and I thought it was still a pretty solid tank. I've actually 3-marked it 3 times, twice on NA, once on EU. The remaining 2 times were both after the buff, which of course, I don't have to tell you, very, very good. And it's still good even after the apparent nerfs, which I don't really ever feel when I'm facing these tanks. I still feel like the hatches are really strong, but yeah, it's still worth it to get the tank for sure, and it's just really, really comfortable and fun to play. So going back to the M series tanks, we have the M60, which this is kind of a funny story with this tank. It was released with the first campaign, and obviously the level of salt and tears that were flooded from the average player base on the forums complaining that they weren't going to be able to obtain this tank was something I've never seen before and never seen since. So it was really fun, naturally, when those of us that were good enough, I suppose, in good enough clans that could earn the tank, we rubbed it in a little bit. The origins of M60 Jesus, of course, and then we thought it would be hilarious to drown the tanks at the start of battles. Yeah, they were different times, and you can see that I like 46 battles in the tank. Yeah, I mean it is similar to the M48 in most ways, and I think actually the gun handling is better. I can't really remember, but it is squishier as well. So, and the headlight I think is really dumb. But yeah, I don't really play the tank all that often, so maybe if you see me on stream, you can encourage me to play it a little bit more, because I really don't. But perhaps I should. The T57, which again, like the E5 when it was first introduced, was sort of like a Clan Wars staple. Really, really good. I remember using a lot of these. Now, the T57, when it first introduced, was during an era where heat was unnerfed, which meant heat penned everything and wasn't defeated like spaced armor like we know heat to do today. Heat was the best master race round. And the T57 was gargantuan during those times. It really was so very good. Since then, of course, heat was sort of fixed, quote unquote, or the mechanic was changed. And they also nerfed the 57's gun handling, which I really didn't think was necessary, because now the 50B is outright better than this tank. They did it, I think, the reasoning was to make it different from the 50B, but it was already different because it was slower but more DPM, so I don't really know what the logic was. Which is a shame, because oftentimes you miss the DPM on this tank purely because the gun handling is so poor, which is kind of a waste. You want high DPM, you want those shots to hit right, but if you start missing shots, you lose DPM. So yeah, it's kind of a shame as far as the 57 is concerned, but it's still a pretty good tank. It can dish out some real damage in the right situation. It was a struggle to 3-mark this tank, though, I'm not gonna lie. The gun handling drove me a little nuts, so, but it's still kind of worth it to go up if you want it. It's still in the right element. It's so fun, but in more open maps, whereas the sniper do a lot of moving, not so good. So then we have the E50, which I have a ton of battles in the E50. Unlike the Patton, I had this when it was the tier 9 top tier, and I really did enjoy it then. I still enjoy it today. And yeah, it's a really, really fun tank. I really do like the E50. I like the new HD model actually on it. I do think it looks quite nice, and I like the return to the old sort of mantlet style. I didn't like the cone mantlet that they had for a little while. The new one's much, much nicer. But yeah, the E50, there's not much really I have to say. I have a ton of battles in the tank. It's really, really old, but I really do still enjoy playing the tank. Most of the time, though, I do play the E50M, purely because it's tier 10, I guess. It's just basically a better E50. So, you know, both tanks are really nice, and the E50M, I couldn't recommend this tank enough. Really, really do enjoy this tank. It's a lot of fun to play. And, you know, you have that extra element of being able to ram people, and, you know, it's so fun. It really is fun ramming someone with your E50M. But, yeah, no, it's not particularly like high DPM or anything, but as a medium, it is really quite potent with the extra depression it now has. The armor, which gives it a little bit more capacity to bounce to lower tier guns, which a lot of the other mediums don't, as well as a really nice gun. It is quite a potent tank, the E50M, and it's actually, the crew on this is really, really good. I was just looking at it. I'm trying to think, this might be my second best crew. I'm not entirely sure, but it's pretty good. Working on the 6th skill, so yeah, it's a pretty good crew. So then we have the T55A, which of course is the reward tank for doing the missions, the 3rd tier missions. Now, this is actually the only mission tank I really wanted, because I really, really do like the idea of having a T54 that's sort of like a premium, I guess, because when I first went for the T54 and the 140 and the 62A, I actually I got to the T-54, I was like, okay, I'll grind this tank stock. That was a big mistake. I got like 20 battles in, I was like, screw this, and I free XP the rest of it. I've never actually played an elite T-54. So this is my substitute, and you know, it's fun. I like it. It's a real comfortable tank to play. Of course, the pen is terrible, so I have heat first. Gold noob! Oh my god, gold noob! But you know, kind of necessary in this tank. But yeah, it's still really nice. I really do enjoy playing it. It's I don't take it out that often, really, but when I do take it out, I do enjoy the experience I have. So that is the remainder of the tier 9s that I have. Moving back to tier 10. We have the Leopard 1. Now, most of you know by now, I do not like this tank, and I guess my opinion is mostly shared with a lot of people in terms of its viability. Some people like the tank, but it's hard to find people that won't admit that it's bad. It's too big, it's got no armor, its speed is nice, and the gun handling is okay, although it should be far better. The E50M is better, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just a shame. The Leopard just doesn't have enough going for it. I mean, its DPM is okay, but it's like nothing compared to like the Russian mediums and some others. It's, you know, and if more maps were larger and open, maybe the Leopard would be much better. But because a lot of maps are corridor and close quarter, the Leopard just doesn't have much to offer compared to the other mediums. It also has issues with the ammo rack, but I suppose those will be somewhat solved with the reusable consumables. But it's just, it doesn't have enough going for it. And it's a shame because the Leopard is a gorgeous looking tank. And I was really excited to get this tank, but yeah, it's a shame really. It could be a really good tank, but I think either different map design or maybe if they boosted the DPM to like a really nice amount, we could see it being good. But yeah, let's see what it has without that. 3188. Versus 2953, I got the E50M gets so much more. I don't know. It's a shame, really. It should be better. It's also not very good at snapping, which is kind of a huge issue. A gun should be able to snap if it's supposed to be accurate. This gun does not snap very well, which it should, but you know, there you go. So next we have the E100, which is the oldest tank, that's tier 10, that I own, and this is the best crew that I have, like without a doubt. Major Gunner Hacks. He has led my E100 into battle for a long time. It's such a fantastic tank. I really, really do love my E100. Even in today's meta with everyone penning it with heat, I don't care. I love this tank, and I 3-marked this tank 3 times as well. Really, really love the E100. It's just, it's so fun, honestly. Unfortunately, of course, even with the gun buffs, it's still 246 is not enough pen these days. It used to be enough. You know, I played a lot of battles in this tank, and a lot of those battles were played without the use of premium shells because, you know, you used to have to pay gold, and you couldn't pay gold for premium. Now, of course, you buy credits, but you know, back then you had to buy gold. But yeah, it's necessary, unfortunately, to use heat. But yeah, most tanks I 3-mark them and I take the rations off. But the E100, I guess nostalgia. I just love the tank and I just leave the rations on it, so it gets the expensive loadout, the E100. So it's a costly tank to run, but I do love this tank. It is my oldest tank. That's a 10 in my hangar, and yeah, I can't say enough about how much I still love the tank. And to be honest with you, I guess the Mouse and the VK are probably better tanks, or not the VK, the Panzer 7, probably better tanks. But, well, the Mouse is certainly better tank in its current state, but the Panzer 7, I guess, is debatable. But this tank is just so much fun, and I would still recommend you going for this tank, as well as the other two, really. Here's the Mouse. I actually 3-marked this Mouse before the significant buffs to this tank, but I mean now it's just so good. The DPM buff, the handling buff, the armor buffs. I mean, the Mouse has almost everything going for it except for speed, but even then it doesn't matter with the way most maps are laid out. If you're clever with your positioning, it's so good. And with the nerf to artillery and, you know, a super heavy spall liner, this tank is going to be even nicer. I mean, most tanks are going to be much nicer with the nerf to artillery alpha, but The mouse in particular, I mean, it may get picked off a little bit, but you have reusable consumables, so we'll see how it goes. But I think with the super heavy spall liner and the reusable consumables, I think it'll be fine. But it's so good. It's so good now. Surely it has to be nerfed, but apparently 9.18 is not going to be the time it's going to be nerfed. So, you know, if you're in the future and you're looking at this video and the mouse has been nerfed, I hope it's good, but not like God tier still. So we have the Grill 15, which is a tank a lot of people are obsessed with. I just think it looks retarded and I hate it. So yeah, there you go. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I never really enjoyed it that much. I think it looks dumb, and I don't know. I guess it really annoyed me because it would always get to medium positions so fast and then hit you with a massive alpha hit at the beginning of the game, which is really frustrating. I don't really think the nerfs really changed much about that, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. I don't really get along with the tank, I'm not going to lie. But some people really, really do love this tank. Just not for me. I just think it's dumb. So, yeah. And then finally we have the JP E100, which I've actually had this tank a long time since it was first released. And I don't really play that many battles in it, to be honest with you. I tried to play it more recently to do the tank destroyer missions. It's quite difficult to do a lot of those missions, especially when you have to remain unlit. But I don't know. I mean, it's just a meme cannon, isn't it, really? I mean, at the end of the day, yeah. But this is what I don't agree with, though. 1,050 average alpha. I don't think anything should have that kind of gun in this game. I just think in general it's far too punishing to have this kind of gun. I think it should be nerfed. It should be given a Jagdtiger gun, better stats. Keep the armor stats on the tank, maybe boost the speed a little bit in this gun traverse, and then boom, you have a really nice tank that doesn't actually ruin people's games in one hit. The 183, of course, is worse, excuse me, but you know, I don't own that tank for that reason, so maybe I'll buy the 183 just to punish tier 10 light tanks. I don't know. But this tank, I don't know. It's funny, yeah, and it's nice to like whack people for half their hit points, but it really sucks for the receiving end, and I think it's more frustrating to be on that end than the satisfaction you get from hitting someone for that much. But there you go, we have it, and so yeah, that's that. So yeah, that's part one, guys. I mean, a lot of rambling, but maybe you found some of it interesting. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys are interested, I'll keep going, and we'll look over the other tanks. But yeah. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in any of these tanks. What's your favorite tank? If you have one of these that's your favorite tank, do let me know. And I'll catch you on the next video.